So Jay, first off, man, thank you for your time. I'm super excited to hear more about your background as well as the AUBL. And I want to start here because you've worked across some of the most powerful sports ecosystem in Asia. So what gap did you see in Asian basketball that made you say, I want to start this league and this league needs to exist?
Thank you, Malcolm, for having me. So I do have a quite interesting career in basketball. I started in NBA league office in New York, and then became Yao Ming's chief of staff. After he became the commissioner for the Chinese Basketball Association, and then started working, very closely with people like Joe Tsai, who's now, the owner of Brooklyn Nets and Liberty. And for the past basically 15 years, I've been working in basketball between the US and China. And I see that's kind of all that experience helped me to see the opportunity of college basketball in Asia because I think in the United States, college basketball and pro basketball are equally big at a pop culture level, right? And in Asia, where you do have the biggest basketball fan base in the world, where NBA basketball is being avidly followed by almost a billion people, and there are also people play basketball. Basketball is the most participated sport in Greater China, but then and college basketball is also very big in Asia. But I think a lot more could be done to elevate the level and to also amplify the influence. That's where I really saw there's an opportunity to create a new pan-regional platform and where the best institutions, college teams from each country or regions in Asia could compete together with each other. So new rivalries will be created, and they're not only domestic rivalries, they're international rivalries. And the alumni base will be great. You'll get them involved. And you know how Asian really value education. And so in I think in Asian culture, sometimes university higher education institutions are more influential than sports clubs in the current status. So that if you can leverage that existing influence and social impact, and pretty much create a new angle to focus on sports and basketball particularly, I think there's a lot you can leverage from day one. You're not building a league from scratch. The league is basically it's built on a very established infrastructure. You just bring in new marketing and some ideas that NCAA has done a very good job with for the past decades. I think that comes to a very good product. So I think that's kind of how we started the idea of creating AUBL in the first place.
Mhm. I love it, man. And I think you have 12 universities right now, for multiple countries under one un or umbrella or league. That's no small feat. There's a lot of logistical challenges and conversations that need to take place behind the scenes. So what was that like, getting these universities aligned and kind of sharing that vision with them?
Yeah, yeah. For us, the biggest challenge is we're creating actually international league. It's not abounded by one country, right? It's the universities are all very famous in this region, but they are from different country and regions, and they don't normally play with each other. For example, in China or Japan or Korea, the university they play with each other. They're domestic rivalries, but they've never really played with an overseas opponent like what we're doing with AUBL. So getting them comfortable to idea was the first step, right? They're all very excited, but they've never done it before. So it took me a while to actually to build the connections and build the trust and make them feel comfortable that this is good for them, right? And which actually that's where they are right now because they all think this is a great platform to help them amplify and elevate their game. And that took definitely some convincing and effort, but it was a team effort. I'm very fortunate to be able to build a team with very diverse talent, a lot of ex-NBA league office people, my ex-colleagues there. And I think we all come in with a lot of passion for the game and also a lot of deep expertise on the landscape here. So That's why we're able to achieve it. All the teams that participated in our inaugural edition, 2 weeks ago, loved it, and they want to come back. They want to be, they want to be, long-term partners with us.
what was some of the more challenging aspects of getting this off the ground? Like some of the things that you didn't expect to be as challenging as they were, and then some of the things that were easier than you expected they would be.
Uh, I think traveling it's interesting to say traveling, yeah. Because basically we're talking about an international league, right? Traveling is always a big part because they're traveling internationally. A lot of so this first edition took place in Hangzhou, China, and but for the teams that are visiting from overseas, all of them excuse my wife who just passed
No,
by.
no worries.
A lot of them are actually traveling abroad for the first time.
Right.
So some of them need to get their passport for the first time. They're all college students. They haven't probably even being global, yeah, yeah. So it's the first time they're actually traveling abroad. So, but the good thing is within Asia, especially East Asia, particularly for this tournament, where a lot of the teams come from, they're all. It's actually very easy to travel because there's direct flight. Everything's within 3 hours, so it was actually pretty easy. So I mean, traveling is a big part, but once all the teams, all the players are on the ground, you can just tell they're so excited, they're ready to ball.
Got you. Is part of the because I don't know if you know this. I played in the BJ League in Japan back in
Oh,
2015. Yeah, so I understand basketball culture in Japan a little bit. Obviously, it's evolved since then. That was about 10 years ago now, which makes me feel a little bit old. But I started to see the growth of the game, specifically in Japan, but China has always kind of been a main staple in basketball. A very strong culture over there. Is part of the goal or long-term vision to become somewhat of a feeder system into some of those bigger leagues in China and Japan and other countries?
absolutely. I think in the perfect world, I think college basketball system should be the centerpiece of talent development, right? And that's exactly what how the US does it. All the NBA players, a lot of them are actually NCAA players, and then they got drafted to the league. And I think it's a very organic and good system because basically the kids, who are coming to the NBA, they're a lot of them, most of them are college students, and before they become pro, right? So, and then college and the college platform, so it's so big with a lot of exposure. So the scouts can see how they play. The games are also carry a lot of weight. They're on national TVs, et cetera, right? So I think that's what we're trying to do with AUBL too, because we're building a platform where more exposure is able to be delivered to your doorstep, much easier. We're speaking to a global audience. We're producing our games, we're marketing our game to a global audience where now more people are gonna see how Asian college students play ball, right? And if they're really good, they got noticed. So I think it will actually change, maybe revolutionize how scouting is done in Asia.
hmm You mentioned Joe Tsai, who, obviously his work with Alibaba is, highly publicized, but also on the sports side, what he's done as the owner of the Nets and the numerous other sports that he's involved in. How did you, what was kind of the angle there with pursuing, persuading him to get on board and convincing him in the vision and what you guys were building with the AUBL?
Oh yeah, so I've known Joe Tsai for many years, and I've worked with him, and I know he is actually very passionate about collegiate sports, and himself, many years ago, was a student athlete at Yale, a lacrosse player. So he is a believer and a very big supporter of college sports. And obviously, he's made very important investment in the basketball ecosystem, becoming the owner of WNBA and NBA teams, and so So when I told him about the idea of starting a pan-regional college basketball league in Asia, he just instantly loved it. He think this is something in line with his philosophy and with his vision, and he told me he want to be supported. And so frankly speaking, I didn't need to do a lot of persuasion on him. Because he is this is something that's in line with his vision and his philosophy and how because he really values college sports. And he thinks there's an opportunity in Asia on the basketball side, and so AUBL is the right angle to do it. And
And how involved is he from like a strategic perspective? Is he someone like you consistently lean on for, advice about the direction and some of the things that you're trying to do with the AUBL?
yeah, absolutely. He is definitely my go-to person when I need some guidance on strategy. And of course, he's a seed investor himself, and you can see a lot of photos. He was at our finals 2 weeks ago. He was there all day attending our event. We did a fireside chat with him for one of our VIP luncheon event presented by JP Morgan, and he was also at the game courtside with his son, with his older son, and he I think he was loving it. I think he was loving it from what I'm seeing. He think the game was great, the presentation was great, so I think he's pretty happy with where we are with our initial tournament.
Really cool. I want to kind of get into some of the economics behind the league. How are you guys thinking about monetization? Do you see like the immediate kind of driver being media rights, sponsorships? Like what is kind of the thinking process there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think in Asia, basketball is sporting IPs. I think sponsorship is usually the number one driver when it comes to monetization, and then media rights will follow. So I think, and then merchandise. So they are the usual suspects when it comes to revenue sources. But for example, this past tournament we did. Most of our revenue comes from sponsorship. We're able to have a very good lineup of sponsors, including the one I just mentioned, JP Morgan, and Under Armour, just to name a few, right? So sponsorship usually comes first, and then media, right? We have to really cultivate and build the product a little bit more, and then the media partners will see it. I think we're already in conversation with a couple major streaming partners pan-regionally. So they're all pretty interested in what we're doing. They just want to see how our Hangzhou event turned out, and now we've got all of those data and all those case studies, and I'm starting to meet all of them to discuss expanded partnerships for next year and beyond. So, and then merchandising is not the merchandise is another big area to be explored. In the States, I think it's such a part of the pop culture. People wear their college swags, right?
Yeah.
But in Asia, it's not that big yet, because you basically need that cultural environment for people to want to show off their swags. That is sporting event, in my view. So if we can create good enough platforms, and then I think people will definitely want to buy more uh, college swags. I think that's a big area of opportunity for us as well.
Yeah, I agree. That's a really good point. I'm curious to hear how you guys think about fan engagement and getting students, alumni to the games. How are you guys thinking about that strategically in terms of engaging the consumers, wanting them to be a part of the games and the events and things of that nature?
Yes, of course. I think our answer to it is we have to have games happening on campuses, right? That's why we're transitioning into a home away format next year. What we did this year is a centralized tournament, spans over 7 days, 24 games all happening in one week, 12 teams all together in one location. It was great. It created a big enough noise. But we will have that as part of our Elite A Final Four, whatever, every year moving forward. But we need to have a regular season that where teams do travel to each other campuses. So it's during it will be during academic year, and the students and the alumni, I think they would want to go back or go to the arena to support their home team. So I think to have that home court advantage, I think it's the best way to mobilize student body, alumni base, all of that. So that's why our strategy is very simple. Have the games on campuses.
Got you. Got you. Makes sense. You also said that the AUBL can produce the next Yao Ming or Jeremy Lin. Obviously, we know about how they, their transition to the NBA, the impact they had culturally. Are you putting any specific systems in place to ensure that pipeline is real and that it is strong instead of just being aspirational?
I think for us, I think the raw talent is here, but a lot of them got discovered pretty late, and I do think with everything that's changing in the US, how NCAA is evolving and how NBA is evolving, I do think with our platform, if we're able to really bring the spotlight under it, and so people will see some really good players already playing at a college level here in Asia. Maybe maybe they will that will lead them to new opportunities globally. So, for what we do, I think our priority is to make sure the platform got enough exposure. Enough people will be able to see it not only in Asia, but maybe they can see it from elsewhere in the States, anywhere through streaming. So if there are players that they want to follow, they can follow it anywhere, right? And then once the following got expanded to a larger scale, I think opportunities will come and the talent pipeline will be established. So that's kind of how I see it. When it comes to the early, even earlier, if you talk about the players in the earlier in their career, they all want to go to those universities because those universities already are very academically famous and also but also they do have great basketball programs with the history. So I don't worry about the schools not able to attract enough young talent because that attraction already is there. So, but what we're building will only enhance how attractive those university basketball programs will be for the kids.
For sure, for sure. If we fast forward 5 years from now, uh, what would you say success would look like for the AUBL at that point in time?
Well, I don't want to quantify it. Probably I'll just say I keep saying this the same thing. I think I want to reach a level where AUBL carries a lot of weight in Asian's pop culture. It will be something bigger than what avid hardcore basketball fans follow. It will be something that casual fans could talk about every year around the time, like March Madness. It's the bracket, everybody talks about the bracket, right?
Mhm.
No matter how closely they do follow the sport itself, but people would want to talk about the bracket. The games are shown in all bars, all different sports bars. That's kind of the level of influence we hope to achieve. But it will take some time, but I'm very confident that it will get there eventually because Asia does have the right environment and the right talent pipeline and and the right technology and all commercial factors to make that happen.
Got you. And then last question here. Selfishly, what do you want your legacy to be in Asian basketball? Because obviously you're building something that's super innovative that's never been done before. So look, like long term, like what do you want people to remember about, Jay and what he built here?
Yes, I'm very fortunate enough to have realized a lot of my childhood dreams, like to work for the NBA League office, to work along with my childhood hero Yao Ming, and to be some sort of a veteran in the industry, even in my mid 30s. So I'm just very fortunate and I feel blessed that that's where got me here. And now I do feel like I have the right resources to push the limit even further. That is to build a league because I think building a league requires so much more complicated effort than just a vision and not just a vision, right? Or capital. It needs more than just a vision and capital. You need to have a world-class team. And need to have to be lucky. You need to have good relationship, connections, all of that combined. So in terms of my own legacy, I don't know. The answer, I think, frankly speaking, I believe the sky is the limit. But if I'm able to help AUBL to become something that's like a household, not only a household name, but a pop cultural phenomenon, I think, I should take some credits for that. But I'm not in a rush to do that because I think my success and my legacy depends on how successful AUBL could become.
I love it. Jay, appreciate it, man. Lastly, can you let people know where they can learn more about the AUBL as well as yourself?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So aubl.com is our website. It's very so if you want to find information about the league, the stats, the teams, you can just go to aubl.com. It's a one-stop shop for a lot of content. But stay tuned because we're gonna go enter a period where we are gonna do more fundraising and all those key media partner negotiations, and then we'll be back next year, bigger and more fun, stronger. So I think definitely stay tuned on all the exciting announcement that will be released in the coming month. It's going to be pretty interesting for sure. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Hopefully, I'll get out to a game one of these days too.
Oh, definitely. You have to. I would love to meet up in Miami or anywhere in the States or host you in Asia for a UBL game for sure.
Absolutely. All right, this is